Holly. What time is it now?
Just 10 minutes later than when you asked before.
Do you think he'll get here in time?
He'll be here any minute now. Take it easy, John. Do you really have to tell him tonight?
Yes, tonight. I feel that it may be my last.
No. You know you're going to get better.
Holly, what's become of your passion for cold scientific facts? There he is now. Hurry.
I believe my uncle's expecting me. I'm Leo Vinci.
Yes, I can see that. Hi, Vincent. Come along in.
Thanks.
My name's Holly. Horace Holly.
Glad to know you. Confound your English fog. Our ship was a whole day late.
Well, thank heavens you're here in time.
Time? What's all the rush? Your cable said, catch first boat, greatest adventure in the world. What's all the mystery?
You'll hear all about that from your uncle. There's one thing my cable didn't say. John Vinci's dying.
Good Lord. What of?
Radium poisoning.
I haven't seen the old man since I was a kid. He never quite got over our side of the family going American. Why'd he send for me?
There's no time to explain that now. Every minute counts. Come along in.
I'm sorry, sir. I couldn't get here any sooner.
Never mind that, my boy. There's no time for explanations now. Come closer. Holly, did you ever see such a striking resemblance?
Extraordinary. I'd already noticed it.
Look at that portrait. Holly, turn on that light.
Does resemble me at that. Or should I say that I resemble him?
That is your ancestor of a dozen generations ago.
Really?
John Vinci in the 15th century.
Well, I must say we Vinces have a way of looking like each other.
I have no time for explanations now, my boy. I'm a man of science. I'm not superstitious. If I were, I might imagine that your resemblance to a man dead nearly 500 years is fate's way of showing me that you will find again what he discovered.
What is that, sir?
The means of overcoming man's enemy.
Man's enemy?
My enemy, your enemy. The enemy of all living things.
Careful, John.
That is what I mean, Leo. That is the swinging march of man's enemy. Time, bringing death. Invisible, relentless death.
I guess nobody can stop that.
Who knows? A lot of men have believed that they could. Ponce de Leon, who searched for the fountain of youth. Or those 15th century alchemists who tried to discover the elixir of life.
But what connection is all this with me? Or John Vinci over there on the wall?
That's what your uncle's going to tell you.
Holly, get me the box. Listen to me carefully, Leo. I haven't time left to tell you more than once.
Uncle John, I don't think you should exert yourself.
Please, please. What I am going to tell you is a secret handed down in our family from father to son. The first John Vinci there did not go on his last great adventure alone. His wife left their son in England to go with him. For 5 years, they vanished from the world. Then one night in a town in northern Poland, a woman, ill, starving, dying, collapsed at the door of an English merchant. He took her in and heard her ravings of hardship and fantastic terror. That woman was John Vinci's widow. Before she died, she became more coherent, begged for someone to write a letter to her family in England. Here's the letter, dictated by that dying woman almost 5 centuries ago.
Yes, it is something of a puzzle.
Doesn't she tell what happened to John Vinci?
Yeah. So he was killed because he refused to abandon me.
Does it give any idea where they went to?
Not much. Mentions the land of Muscovy.
Russia, eh?
Or Siberia, or Kamchatka, all known as Muscovy in the 15th century.
The place where he was killed was far, far north. She escaped with their English servant. They fell in with some natives who guided them back across a glacier, over what she calls the Schuylkill Barrier. There, death struck again. Holly, read it.
Then a great beast sprang on our guides and killed them all. My servant Giles killed the beast, but died of his grievous wounds. So I was left alone.
But what about the discovery you spoke of? What'd they find?
Read on.
In this strange land we saw the flame, and he who stands therein comes forth unharmed to triumph over death.
But John Vinci died there. Why, if he found this flame?
Because he was murdered.
But you are scientists. Do you really take all this seriously?
Seriously? Come, my boy. I'll show you how seriously. Come into the laboratory where Holly and I have done our life work. In the beginning, I was as skeptical as you. Then Holly and I, years ago, in this very room, began our efforts to reproduce John Vinci's life-prolonging flame. We failed. But our researches in radioactivity carried us far enough to make us believe that such an element really exists.
An element to preserve life?
Yes.
17 years in this room. There's one other thing we ought to show him, John.
Yeah. Can you make out the inscription?
It means, here burns the flame of life.
That is the sole possession Vinci's wife had left. She sent it to the son she never saw again.
It's all so mysterious, it doesn't make sense. This thing's gold, not an unknown element.
To be sure it's gold. It's only the symbol of the flame of life, John Vinci found.
Don't you understand?
I'm afraid I don't. Flame destroys life.
1,000 volts of electricity will destroy life. But increase the frequency and you may safely take 1,000,000 volts through your body. The radiation from this unknown element, this flame of life, may be 1,000,000 degrees hotter than any fire we know. Or it may be as cold as ice.
That's too much. A cold flame?
Did you ever hear of a man being burned by X-rays or radium?
Mm-hmm.
Did he feel himself being burned? No more than I did myself.
This flame of life, Vinci, is pure radiation. The most intense and flame-like radiation in the whole universe.
Radiation from what?
From the unknown element.
Do you really believe such a thing exists?
We no longer believe, we know it exists. Our experiments prove that.
That's right. They also prove something else. This element cannot be artificially produced.
Only nature, only God can produce it.
But where?
In a glacial region of volcanic character.
That's largely guesswork, isn't it?
No. Not if the family legend is true. And I believe that it is. I believe that John Vinci found that flame. And that it still burns somewhere, remote and mysterious, offering eternal life. That's why I've sent for you. You're a Vinci, the last of us. Holly can't do it alone, but he'll go with you. John Vinci was an explorer. It's in your blood, too. The love of adventure. Don't look upon this as a deathbed wish. If you should try, if you succeed, I shan't be here. But I hope that somehow I shall know, and somehow share in your triumph when you say, here burns the flame of life.
Uncle John.
John. John!
I'll take mine with a big reindeer steak.
Yagana! Fine old northern hospitality. Nothing in the world like it, they tell me.
Northern hospitality, eh?
Come here, Taxu.
Saya dah jatuh, Magaluk.
Well, I'm blown. I thought you were some of those infernal wandering Chantos. Can't take any chances with them.
Don't we know it? Stayed with a tribe of them last week.
Planning to stay here tonight, I take it.
We hope so.
Come 20 miles today.
Come in. Come in. Sit down, both of you. There's a big stew on the stove just about ready. Plenty to go around.
Yeah, I'm glad of that.
Hey, how about supper? Do we eat or don't we? Yeah? Oh, that's my daughter Tanya. Sit down.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now then, gents, do I understand you want to do business with me?
We heard you had the post furthest up country. We thought you might be able to help us get some natives to go on.
Where do you want to go?
Did you ever hear of the Shugal barrier?
Oh, yes, I've heard natives talk of it.
There at last. We're on our way.
On your way where?
Over the Shugal.
Oh, you're crazy.
Why?
You'll never get a native to guide you there.
We'll pay 'em well.
That ain't the point. They're afraid to go, I tell you.
Why?
Because no one who got over ever came back, so far as I know.
Why didn't he come back? What lies beyond the Shugal?
More of the same, I suppose. Of course, the natives have tales about it.
Well, what did they say?
I never paid much attention to their foolishness.
I can tell you.
You can? What is it?
The natives say that beyond the Shugo there are terrible dangers. They say...
Bah. Yes, go on.
Why, it's just a sort of legend.
What is the legend?
A long time ago, they believe, a woman came out of the country that lies far beyond the Shugo.
What sort of woman?
A white woman. She told them that she had escaped from a strange place.
Strange?
And if a man finds the way there, he will never die.
The catch in that is he dies before he gets there. Hold your trap, Tanya. You gab too much.
Wait. Is there anything in the story about fire? A flame? Anything you can connect with this?
No, I don't think so.
What's that? Gold, ain't it?
Yes.
It is gold. I see. Well, now you begin to make sense. So that's what lies beyond the Shugo.
No, you don't understand. Gold isn't what we're interested in.
Ah. Suppose I could get a few natives to go on. How much could you pay them?
Anything they asked?
Well, that's liberal enough. Money no object, eh? Lads, no one can say old Dugmore ever let a white man down. I'll get natives to go. I'll run the outfit myself, and you needn't pay me a penny. How's that for an offer?
What? Well, what about those dangers you talked about?
I'll be frank with you, gents. I figure it's worth some risk to be a partner in what you're after.
My dear sir, that's absurd. You can't be a partner in what we're looking for.
I said a partner. You try to keep me out of this. I'll fix it so that no native in these parts will come within 1,000 miles of you. Take it or leave it. Tanya, here.
I tell you again, Dugmore, you're crazy. You can't take a girl up there.
Oh, stop rowing about it. I'm sick of hearing it.
Well, we don't know what we're getting into.
Well, what's your idea, then? To leave her here alone, with no one around for 400 miles except a lot of wandering shantos? Would like to get even with me? Anyhow, we want somebody to cook.
My dear, has anybody taken the trouble to ask you what you want to do?
I want to go.
There, you see? She wouldn't leave her poor old pa.
If there were any place to leave her, I wouldn't let her come along. Think you'll be all right?
I'm all right.
Come along, let's go.
Shoot! Kulache!
Look! That may lead to a way over the Schuylkill barrier. What do you think?
Well, let's hope so. We've followed that cliff for a week without finding a way through it. Anyhow, it'll be a shelter from the wind. And the dogs can't go on without a rest. Hurry up with that food, Tanya.
It'll be ready as soon as I get it thawed out.
I wouldn't mind being thawed out myself.
Leo, this is no place to camp.
Dugmore says the dogs need a rest.
I don't like it. Sitting down here under this wall of ice, it's dangerous.
What's the matter with you now? What's dangerous?
There you are.
Oh, what of it? You've heard that several times lately.
In this narrow place, any noise might start vibrations which might cause an avalanche. Merely shouting might do it.
Oh, pipe down. Who's lived in the North for 20 years, me or you? Lecture yourself out of that, Professor. You, hurry up with that grub.
I still don't like it.
Smells good.
Tastes good, too. Snow rabbits.
Are the ones I shot? Oh, I'll fix that.
You don't have to help me.
But I want to.
You think having me along is a nuisance.
Oh, we couldn't get along without you.
I wish you really meant that.
I do, honest.
Because I can cook?
Well, not only that, but there's another reason. Your father. If it weren't for you, I couldn't get along with him for a minute. But with you here, I find him at least bearable.
I know.
That isn't very nice of me, is it?
I can't blame you, but
I understand. He's your father.
you see, I was brought up by the Russian sisters at Urupchi. The convent broke up about a year ago, and then he came and took me to the trading post. He said he was my father.
Well, I begin to understand.
Oh, it's all right, really.
But it isn't all right. When we get back from this trip, I'll teach him how a girl like you ought to be treated. If I had a daughter like you, don't you think I'd love her and show her that I do?
Would you?
Well, of course I would. I don't see how you can help loving her. Why, you're...
Vincy! Vincy, Holly! Holly!
What's up?
The natives have just come down from the glacier, shrieking something about a white man. Let's go up and see what it's about. They'll show us the way. Mangolanda. Come on.
Unless I'm balmy, it's a saber-toothed tiger. Think of it, man.
Well, that's a new one on me.
Saber-toothed tiger. They've been extinct for thousands of years, haven't they?
In all known parts of the world, yes, but here, they must have been preserved in that ice for 400 or 500 years. They must have camped in this glacier. Look how that man's dressed.
Holly, the servant. The faithful servant who was with John Vince's wife. What did the parchment say, remember?
By Jove, Leo, you're right. He killed the great beast but died of the wounds it gave him. And she escaped alone. Remember?
Holly, we found our way, the way to the flame.
Look. That stiff's got a chain round his neck. And there's a ripped canvas bag. It's gold. This ice ain't so thick, and with this axe...
Don't be a fool. You heard what Holly said about any vibration causing an avalanche.
Oh, the professor says a lot of things.
Come along. Let's get out of here. You fool!